Thank you. Would like to take this opportunity to invite to the podium the other district champion, who is the provincial champion, the MEC for Social Development, Ms. Nkosazana Khoza, to come and give us a word of welcome.
It's too high. Can someone? Thank you and greetings to yourself, Program Director. Greetings to the Honorable President of the Republic. Greetings to ministers present here. The Honorable Premiers from both provinces. MECs from both provinces, the stakeholders present here. We have seen the religious leaders, business sectors, traditional leadership, members of the media, Sanborn. It is a great honor and pleasure for me to be part of this important gathering, where our government kickstarts the plan to change the life of the people for the better. This is an exciting day because people of this district, of this province, and the country are looking upon us to come out with concrete plans aimed to change their lives for the better. My responsibility is to welcome you to Ugu district, which is just your home. And you can also feel tranquility in this district, and we believe that you will return soon as we start these engagements. This is not a once-off trip, but we are looking forward to see you several occasions. The engagement of this kind, dedicated to change the lives of the people of KwaZulu-Natal and Eastern Cape, has been long overdue. For us to meet like this as two provinces, national government and district, is a proper response to the dire need of our people to fight the unemployment and poverty. We believe that the plans for a new South African smart city between Port St. John's and Margate will indeed make the lives of the people better. We are pleased that our government has embarked on introducing and implementing a service delivery strategy through the DDM, as been launched and introduced by one and the same, our Honorable President. The inclusion of the local government in the plan is to ensure that the achievements of government goals to address apartheid spatial planning, which many of the country's major cities developed along racial lines. From Ugu district, along the Wild Coast Belt, we are a tourist destination. We have a lot of people who invested on this site and have holiday homes, but such investment only benefits a few. We are very happy that the Coastal City Plan would help reduce unemployment in 2 provinces, promote tourism, and help reverse some of the migration from areas which had seen more people leave for the country's larger cities. For now, we have people who travel between Eastern Cape, KwaZulu-Natal provinces daily for work. Our people from Winnie Madikizela Mandela local municipality, Reinkonyeni local municipality, Umzwabantu local municipality, Matatiel local municipality, Greater Kokstad, and Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma in municipality in the borders of 2 provinces have long working relationship. The formalization of this working relationship of these provinces and district municipalities is welcome and will go definitely a long way to address many challenges faced by our communities. We've been looking forward for this day, Honorable President and the ministers. We will embrace this opportunity by both hands. As the districts and provinces, you are all welcome in this gathering. I thank you.
Thank you, MEC and co-champion. I'd like to take this opportunity then to invite the Minister of COGTA, Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, to come and talk to us about the purpose of the meeting. And immediately after that, we will have a 5-minute video which is part of her presentation.
Thank you very much, Program Director and District Champion of Uku, and of course the Provincial Champion who's just been here. Your Excellency, President of the Republic, Mr. Cyril Matamela Ramaphosa, our host Premier of KwaZulu-Natal, Sihle Zikalala, a representative of the Premier of Eastern Cape, the Cabinet Ministers and Deputy Ministers who are here, MECs present, the Acting Chair of the National House of Traditional Leaders, Umama Mhlawula, Nkosikazi Mhlawula, the traditional leaders who are here, provincial chairs of the provincial houses, business and investment community at large, directors general, heads of departments and public entities, members of the Fourth Estate, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. President, if ever there was a doubt on the veracity of the Cabinet decision to bring development to the Eastern Seaboard, the resounding and overwhelming support we have received in the past months has reignited and confirmed the correctness of that decision. We've had consultations with various stakeholders, the kings of the area, Amakhosi, Izinkosi, business chambers, private sector, investors. They are all extremely keen to be part of your dream to build a new post-apartheid city from the ground up in the 120 kilometers coastal stretch between Port St. John's and Margate, with gateways between Kokstad and Bizana encompassing about 38,000 square kilometers. The abundance of potential in this area where you have fertile lands, beautiful coastline, huge flora and fauna, very pleasant climatic conditions, youthful population. Majority of the people here are women, as elsewhere, and this area brings huge possibilities. Mr. President and colleagues, we'd like to really build a city here which is polycentric, which means it will start in different nodes, but eventually, hopefully, will coalesce into one city. This city, we would like to see a city that is safe for children and women. Because if it is safe for children and women, it means it will be safe for everyone. Would like to see a city where people do not travel and spend up to a third of their income just going to work. We would like to see an integrated city. Would like to see cities that have a different spatial planning than those that we have now. We also like to see a city that does not sleep, a city that works all the time, a city whose economy grinds, the wheels grind all the time, and we'd like to see a city that is easy to travel in. But we'd like to see a city whose environment and people who live there become prosperous. We'd like to see a city that will ensure that the communities around are both sustainable, resilient, prosperous, connected, climate-smart communities. So we've been working with these stakeholders to get their ideas, to get ideas from everyone. But Mr. President, the people we have not gone to are the communities, because we didn't want to go to the communities with different voices. We wanted to go to the communities when we have consolidated and go there and speak in one voice, whether it's the kings, Amakosi, whether it's the provincial, whether it's the local government, whether it's national departments, whether it's business. We all want to go to our communities, just speaking in one voice. So this is, yesterday, Mr. President, we met with traditional leaders and business, just as we have done this morning, meeting with traditional leaders, kings, the two kings, and the other traditional leaders in Nkosi. And we also met with business. And of course, the two provinces were there, the two MECs for COGTA were there, and the officials from the two provinces. And there were a few things that they said we should say to you, Mr. President. One, the issue of skills revolution. The young people in these areas are not employed, are not in training, and are not in school. So the majority of them are at home. So they need to be skilled. And I'm happy that just immediately behind me is the Deputy Minister of Higher Education. So we have to work with the SETAs, we have to work with the FETs, we have to work with everyone, with the investors, with business, to ensure that these young people are skilled. Besides the engineers that are at universities, we need technicians, we need artisans, but we also need to give these young people space to innovate, space to be entrepreneurs, space to form co-ops and participate in the building of this city. And of course, when we say young people, the majority of these young people are also young women. So women must not be left behind in all this. And of course, they also want to see development in all its forms. And the private sector said they are willing to participate, and even in developing some of the targeted skills that may be needed. And they also said that they would like to emphasize that this area that we have chosen needs development like last year, because in their words, they said it looked like this area had been ring-fenced for no development. So they are very happy that now there is going to be development, and they want to participate, they want to bring their ideas. And of course, they were even more excited that we're doing this in the context of the district development model, because everyone will be there. The national departments will be there, as they are there in the steering committee of this. The provinces are going to be there. The local governments are going to be there. But more importantly, business is going to be there, the private sector, civil society, religious, all the stakeholders are going to be there because they are part of the district development model. The District Development Forum has all those elements. And so they are supportive, and you heard the traditional leaders this morning, so I won't go into that. They are also happy that the bridges are being built, but they also said, you know, they've been involved here in what they call the green gold, cannabis and hemp. So they would like to see it developed, processed into its various components, but they don't want to be left behind. They don't want now big people to come and start putting up factories and growing cannabis and leaving them behind. They want to be part of it. They want to be part of everything, but they asked us to say, can we just fix the road R61? So those are some of the areas that they touched on, but they also touched on the fact that this area is very rich in our historic heritage. A lot of our heroes come from this area. And so they would want to see that come alive. And they would also want to see their cultural heritage becoming part of the city, cultural tourism and other areas. Of course, they want to see the sea being used as it is, a big economic frontier. So these are some of the things that they raised, but they also said to us, people who have traveled here would attest to the fact that there are big spots where you can't communicate. There's no network, there's no connectivity. So they would like connectivity to be improved. And indeed, we all agree with that. So, and of course, I will not say what they said to yourself this morning, but I just wanted to raise some of the issues. And of course, they also said that they hope as we build this city, we'll be transparent in who does what, how much it costs, and there will be no one who will say what is in it for me. Everybody will be working with the idea of ensuring that we're working towards a better life for all, as the district champion said. So, President, I thought I should just share some of these with yourselves. And of course, the business people made some pledges, but they did also this morning, so I will not go there. I will leave that. But we are just very happy, Mr. President, that today you are here. And we'll just show a 5-minute video that just gives a high-level view of the 4 districts. I hope it will be shown and it will be seen now. Yeah, there's a screen there. Thank you, Mr. President, and thanks for all.
The time for a brand new city in a democratic South Africa is here. A city that spans 120 kilometers across the wild coast.
South Africa's eastern seaboard is 600 kilometers of the strands of the country's unique history, intricately woven with hope for a prosperous future. This chunk of land is home to the first encounters between the Amazulu, Amaxhosa, Portuguese, Dutch, and the British. The unspoiled lands betray no hint of conflict that built this country, offering only unspoiled beaches, wild coastal lands, unmatched indigenous forests, hilly grasslands, and grand mountains. In the 18th century, the Amaxhosa in the area led minor cattle raids that escalated into 2 great conflicts known as the Xhosa War or the Cape Frontier Wars. And this spirit of struggle would last almost 100 years. This land is home to the Bondo revolts against oppressive colonial and apartheid laws designed to possess the best farmlands. Embraced by the warmth of the Indian Ocean, this land was once home and playground to some of Africa's greatest kings. This is the land which was protected by King Hintsa. This is the battlefield and productive capital of King Shaka Kasanzakakona. This is the site of Isvivan Sgashaga. It is a land with rolling history, offering Ngwane King Matiwana a temporary home as he fled King Shaka and left his refuge with King Mushweshwe on the other side of Great Ukalamba, the barrier of spears. Today, the diverse marine environment of this land and sea is home to no less than 20 fish species, large numbers of dolphins and sardine shoals, sharks and shrimps, and is the home to Africa's own salmon, the Mozambique talip fish. Once the breadbasket of the Khoi, San, and Bantu tribes, it has some of Africa's best suitable land for growing crops and amazing tropical climatic conditions. It offers encounters with the Big Five, evergreen forests, rugged wilderness areas, and unmatched views of the southern slopes of the Drakensberg. All this making it the ideal scenery to support jobs, ecotourism, and recreation. It is South Africa's playground with tourists coming from all corners of the world to enjoy the abundant marine biology and oceans. It is also South Africa's factory and maritime capital. This is a land offering endless potential opportunity. This beautiful coastal stretch of land remains hugely underdeveloped. The 3.6 million daughters and sons who call the Eastern Seaboard home have been deprived of their livelihoods and futures. The young population of this area deserve bold, innovative initiatives which will tackle the legacy they face, give them hope for the future, and result in new black industrialists creating connected, cohesive coastal cities. 8 of the top 10 poorest districts are either owned or related to the Eastern Seaboard.
Never and never again shall it be that this beautiful land will again experience the oppression of one by another and suffer the indignity of being the skunk of the world.
The district development model is a deliberate and proactive measure to dismantle our past narrative of conquest, oppression, and resistance.
I dream of a South Africa where the first entirely new city built in the democratic era rises with skyscrapers, schools, universities, hospitals, and factories.
Here, we can win the war against hunger, poverty, unemployment, and inequality. This winning nation can ensure connectivity, accessible recreation, and leisure. We can bring clean energy, water, and air to meet our sustainable development goals to everyone, everywhere, no matter class, gender, color, race, sexual orientation, or creed.
Ukuthi sibe lapha as we are launching le ndlela yokusebenza esibiza ukuthi i-district development model. It is a model that requires government to develop our country and ensure that there are services that we deliver.
South Africa, Africa and the world, the district development model is here. Join us as we reshape our future and redefine our African heritage through this innovative, polycentric African coastal smart city. As we tackle the great challenges of sustainability and prosperity induced by historical socio-economic developments, let us all take part in driving socio-economic transformation for all.
Thank you very much, Minister of COCTA. I would like to take this opportunity to invite the different stakeholders, particularly from business, starting with the Wild Coast Business Forum. It's Mr. Andile Nochwele. Nochwelele. Okay. Who will also be followed by Mr. Bonang Mohale from Business Unity South Africa, and also Mr. Gregory Mufokeng from the President of BBC. If we can start with the Wild Coast Business Forum.
Program facilitator, Bamanamela, Babu President wetu, Ikumkani zeluzela wetu, ministers present here, deputy ministers present, the DGs, DDGs, senior management from government, the municipal managers, councillors, mayors, the business community, the investors, ladies and gentlemen, good day. Molweni, Sanbona. My name is Ayanda Nochweleka. I know it's difficult to pronounce this. I am from Emampondweni. I'm a Pondo man. I happen to stay here in South Coast. I am from the Wild Coast Business Chamber, which is a chamber that covers the area of Winnie Madikizela Mandela, Inguza Hill, Port St. John's, which is the two districts, OR Tambo and Alfredo. Today's engagement is a continuation of our engagement as business. We are not sitting here for the first time, Mr. President, as business. The Department of Local, the COCTA Department, we have had several engagements. We continue to have engagements in connection with the development of the 4 districts. Indeed, today is a historic moment of our lifetime, especially as people from Pondoland or the Wild Coast. I know back then, there was a period when you come to this province, you will hide that you are from Pondoland. This marks the real democracy taking this country forward. Uniting the 2 provinces, especially the South Coast and the Wild Coast, is the history in the making today. We have gone a long way as communities of the 2 provinces. It is correct, we are not going to talk much, Mr. President, because Minister Dlamini Zuma has indicated our cry. I am so happy, Minister, that you have captured our cry as business. The area, the Wild Coast, Mr. President, you were here a few weeks ago. The work that is happening in that region, it is our work as business. The collaboration of big business and small business, as you have even mentioned, the work that is being done at Msigaba, that is the work of local business working with established business. The materials that you see that is building those bridges is being championed in that region, is not being imported. It's done from the natural resources by local business. Today's establishment of the new city, indeed to us, it's a record that we have been waited for, hoping that our government will engage. But Mr. President, we are not going to be shy and apologetic about challenges that are facing our region and continue to face our region. Our area has been tainted with a very bad image, from work stoppages, delays in development, as if our communities are against the development. But it's unfortunate that on media records is painting a picture, a negative picture about our communities. The stoppage of works, the delays in developments. If you can look at all the court cases that Sanral has got in court today of people opposing the development in Wild Coast, look at who is funding that deal. The delay of Xolobeni mining, our people, especially in Pondoland, have lost lives in the mines in Johannesburg. Who will reject an opportunity of that magnitude coming in, where people will be working from home? It is a dialogue that we believe that our government must start opening, because as the Minister has indicated, there are some people within our country that are very happy to see that area as wild, as underdeveloped as it is, because it is beneficiary to them. The illegal fishing activities that are happening there, the illegal mining of the same resources that we are saying they must be mined officially is continuing. And we are making a special call to say we are ready for the development as business. We want that land developed for the next generation. It is clear, Mr. President, that what is happening there is still the continuation of the previous government. Literally, if you cross Umtamvuna, get to Pondoland, we believe that was a way of distracting the ANC's activities during apartheid to make sure that people in that region remains underdeveloped. A stretch of almost 120 kilometers of seaboard, untouched. But Mr. President, you go in there today, there are people who are owning cottages right on the sea area of that area. Black African people who reside there are pushed away from developing in that space. But today, the biggest business people in Johannesburg, Gauteng, even here in KZN, they go with their 4x4s, they stay in those cottages. You'll find our kids chasing those 4x4 for sweets and everything else. The worst thing that you'll ever see in your life, especially in the government of today. We are making a special call to the Eastern Cape government as business to investigate why those people are there and how do they got into that space. We were saying, Mr. President, we are giving government 2 years to deal with that. Otherwise, there will be a day where we'll come in, collect those keys of those cottages, bring straight to your offices, because there is no way that our people can be pushed away from the real land, but certain people are benefiting there. You go to areas like Mtamvuna today and Xolobeni, there are houses built next to the rondavels of our poor families. That house gets locked for 12 months because it's a holiday home. But the house, the head of that family becomes the security of that household. We cannot carry on with this type of operation during our lifetime. There are areas, Mr. President, that we want to indicate to you, because that piece of land, or most of the pieces of land that we are talking about, is state land, is communal land. There is very little of private land that is involved there, which means that those pieces of land is owned by the state, is owned by the community. We are appealing for a fast-tracked way of making land available for businesses, because the approach that you follow of community resolutions is the best approach. But it's taking too long, Mr. President. If you want a piece of land, 1 hectare to get, especially in the Eastern Cape, it goes from province to national. We have a queue of people that wants to do business waiting for resolution and leases from the Rural Development Department, knowing very well that the land is in the hands of the kings. We are happy, Mr. President, that we have had that meeting today. We are Africans, we are black people, we believe in traditional leadership. But we are making a special call. Please capacitate our traditional leaders. There is no way that you expect Nkosi Madiba to engage in business dealings. I'm just making an example, where even if you go to the chief's house, You get into the Rondaville, into that kitchen, there's not even an office. How are we going to do business with such structures going forward? This is a very serious call that we are making. Also, Mr. President, we are saying we are in support of this development. We will champion it, we will stand behind it, but we are making an advice. The first step that we are calling for is the issue of consultation, Mr. President. Our people needs to be consulted, needs to be given the vision. Because if you've got the imagination, I've seen the video there, Omama Betu with logs and everything else, that's the nature of our community. Going forward, those ladies that you see there, maybe 80% of them have never been even to Port Shepstone just to see certain types of development. Now we need to invest in capacitating our communities, consult them, make them understand what the development means to you. Because we are from an era where we're fighting, protecting our land against the old system. But the current system now needs to go back and educate our people what it means to have land developed. We are also calling for participation, Mr. President. Our people must participate, must give an opportunity to participate in these developments. This top-down approach is what makes things fall flat in these regions. Because if the investor is coming, make community to participate, whether in a form of equity or in a form of ownership. This thing of saying we are involved, renting blacks and all that, we have passed that stage now. We need meaningful engagement and involvement of our communities. Lastly, Mr. President, it is clear that one thing that we want to make sure, we've got investors that we want to take through the road. The R61 road from Port Edward, we are not even asking now, Mr. President. We are saying we went out during elections, we fixed potholes as business. But if you drive through that road, there is no investor that will even have a hope right from Port Edward to Port St. John's. That is a clear issue that, for example, R61 from Market to Port Edward is maintained by Sandral. It's under construction now. You go to R61 today, you can't even navigate your way out. We are saying, please, this is the first point when we are launching the smart city to take care of. Thank you very much. We are behind you. We will soldier on with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Bonang Mohale is not here, and we do not have a representative from Busa, so we will invite Mr. Gregory Mufokeng from BBC. 5 minutes.
Thank you very much, Program Director. I have only 5 minutes. I'll try and be short. To the President of the Republic, President Cyril Ramaphosa, the ministers who are here in our midst, traditional leaders in our midst, the Premier of KZN, Mhlomphei Sihle-Zikalala, Deputy Ministers in our midst, MECs and DGs, colleagues, guests, a very good afternoon to you. I'm here representing the Black Business Council, and Mr. President, we can comfortably report to you that we have been thoroughly consulted by the Minister and her team, and that we are fully behind the development of this new coastal smart African city. In short, as the BBC, we have a variety of stakeholders that fall under our banner, and most of those will be made available. This is a commitment, Mr. President, that we've made to the Minister and the team, that we will be making these resources available to assist the team within the department that is driving this program. We will be making our built environment professionals available, our architects, engineers, project managers, and so on. They will be at the disposal of the department to assist with the planning. We also have made a commitment that we will work together with the department and the team to mobilize investments for this project. And as I was just networking earlier, Mr. President, some of our members are already working with some of the investors here, and plans are far advanced in terms of making sure that these investments actually do happen to support this new vision. We will be making available also our resources in terms of the legal services. We have, as the Black Business Council, lawyers that fall under the Black Lawyers Association, the Black Conveyors Associations, as well as our professionals in the financial services space that fall under an organization that is our member called APSIP. So we are going to make all of these resources available, Mr. President, to make sure that this project does succeed. Further, we want to also say that we are fully behind the district development model as championed by COCTA. And once again, we will be making sure that wherever this model is implemented, we will work together with the department to make sure that it is successfully implemented. Colleagues, as the Black Business Council, we want to make sure that the economic growth trajectory that we all want to achieve is attained eventually. And we want to make sure that as it is attained, transformation accompanies that economic growth. So whatever happens, President, we want to make sure that Black business people are also empowered in this journey of economic growth. So we want to make sure that all of those who think that transformation is no longer a priority of government, we want them to think again, because we are here as the Black Business Council, and we want to make sure that the ownership of this economy reflects the demographics of this country. In the last minute that I have, President, we just want to also make a plea. We know that you did raise this matter in one of your sonas. The work stoppages are still a problem. We will want to, Mr. President, as you sit with your cabinet, to again emphasize this issue that we need our police to act, especially where our sites are being hijacked and our contractors and professionals are threatened with their lives. We want the police to be active and to make sure that those people who are stopping development are dealt with harshly by the law. And we are not saying that development and construction must not include locals. There must be local beneficiation. There must be contractors from localities that are employed. People that must work in these projects must be prioritized, firstly from the local areas. So here we are talking about those people that have made it their business to stop projects, President. Some of them don't even want to work, President. They just want money. They put guns on the table and they just want money without doing any effort. So we'll appreciate it if this issue, Mr. President, can once again be given a priority. Lastly, we obviously need an ESCOM that works, Mr. President, to give us electricity to power our economy. As the Black Business Council, we've made our intentions very clear in terms of working with government to make sure that we fix ESCOM. You have a letter in front of you in your office, President. Please reply to our letter. We are ready to work together with your office. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the support from business, both the Wild Coast Business Forum, Business Unity South Africa, and also from the Black Business Council. Mr. President, this project has also been benefited a lot from the dedication and commitment from the premiers of the two provinces who joined us in long meetings that were convened into the late hours of the evening. So I would like to invite both the Eastern Cape or representative of the Eastern Cape Premier, which is the MEC for Cooperative Governance, Mr. Olile Ngata, to speak on behalf of the Premier, or to make remarks on behalf of the Eastern Cape Premier, and also following him would be the Premier of KZN.
Thank you, Deputy Minister, Program Director, Honorable President, Honorable Ministers, Deputy Ministers, Honorable Premier Zigalala, the Acting Chair of the National House of Traditional Leaders, Uma Mumhlauli, the Chair of the OR Tambo Local House of Traditional Leaders, Utatu Kwadiso, government officials from all spheres of government, MECs present, leaders of business, distinguished guests, good afternoon. Honorable Chair, as I stand here, I'm together with a delegation of traditional leaders, Honorable President, and senior government officials from the province, mandated by the Premier to represent and demonstrate the provincial commitment into the project and our deepest appreciation for the leadership you are giving and the leadership we enjoy under Honorable Minister Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma. Siyabulela. And divakele ndisithi mongameli lamathuba anqabile lokuthetha phambi komongameli. So ndathetha phambi kwakho ngoku being given this task. From the perspective of the province, is that the coastal smart city is greatly underwoven with the historic underdevelopment of geopolitical, economic of the Eastern Cape part, or rather the eastern part of the Eastern Cape. It has also been seeded in the democratic orders, discussions and plans for development of what became known to be the Wild Coast Corridor, starting from the Amatole or Tambo up to Alfred Nzo district. The essence of the Wild Coast Corridor development plans remains being the realization of socio-economic development and the unlocking of the potential of the Wild Coast Corridor through appreciation and beneficiation of its natural endowment that many speakers have raised since our engagement yesterday and today. The ideas of Wild Coast Spatial Development Initiative, conceptualized in the 1990s, are now getting traction in the sixth term of administration through the district development model and the coastal smart city concept. And the coastal smart city is an enhancing and giving meaning to an urbanization process that could continue without plans and guidance as people proceed on their own to occupy land parcels in the coastal areas which they believe to have great potential. And therefore it is critical steps that we're taking now is taking place in that context of land invasions because we have been unable to work together in an integrated and coordinated way to lead these kind of plans. We want to argue as a province that all investments in the 21st century must appreciate our newer vulnerabilities of climate change, which are real. And therefore issues of environmental sustainability, especially digital transformation, are quite very critical under these conditions. In the sixth term, the provincial government has taken a stance to enhance its implementation capacity by firstly ensuring that all the strategic projects across the province are properly packaged and shovel-ready. In this regard, the province utilizes its local capacity in the Kucha Development Corporation and has entered into partnership with the Infrastructure South Africa in the Presidents to ensure projects receive the required funding. And the Eastern Cape Seaboard development is the first of its kind in our country, and some of it may seem impossible to achieve. And a great legend of our province, country, Africa, and the world, namely Dr. Nelson Mandela, once said, I quote, "It always seems impossible until it is done," close quote. So this is the attitude we are adopting as a province as we become part of this important effort for our province. That is why we have begun, Honorable President, to put together artistic impressions of this vision so that we can make it sellable, market to investors. We can make it as a basis to motivate our efforts. As all of us, together with the people of the province, we can see what future is going to look like. So the draft concept for the Eastern Cape Seaboard development launches itself from a number of provincial development documents: the Eastern Cape Provincial Development Plan, the Eastern Cape Provincial Infrastructure Plan, and the Eastern Cape Spatial Development Framework. The Eastern Cape Provincial Infrastructure Plan of 2017 contains provincial strategic projects that are linked to the National Provincial Infrastructure Coordinating Commission. What is worth noting, Honorable President, is that the provincial strategic projects are part of those in the targeted stretch, have a direct relationship with projects that are in other areas outside the seaboard, and such is articulated in our Eastern Cape Economic Development Strategy as spokes and hubs representing leakages. One of the among other critical issues we would like to lift in this message, one of them is funding. That the coastal smart city development would require prioritized and protected funding against the fiscal volatilities. And in this regard, we would want to argue that National Treasurer must be brought into the coastal smart city project teams. And there is also a need for collaborative funding syndication between spheres and between provinces in accordance with the project phases and jointly agreed priorities. The other issue we want to lift, Honorable President, is that of land. That land ownership issues have acted as a constraint on private sector investment in the Wild Coast region, as special attention must be given to land acquisition and release of land to ensure success of the Coastal Smart City project. Unlike other new cities in South Africa, the Wild Coast region is not empty greenfield land. There are many existing human settlements. This must include strong, therefore, social facilitation and consultation with traditional leaders to avert the risk of further coastal land invasion. And I'm glad that we in the province, together with traditional leaders, we're agreeing that there is a need to make the vast tracts of land of communal land available for development. We're agreed that longer gone are the days, Honorable President, uba inkosi sizawuthi kumhla kwafa kulona kodwa abantu balambile. So it's not right to have land but remain poor. Now uhlwembuzelekile ukukhokela abantu abaphuwa. Now siyavumelana ke nenkosi phaya ubana sawusebenzisa lo mhlaba for uphuhlisa inkosi uphuhlisa abantu bazo no buy a stake to any other development, so that instead of being employees in any development, they become shareholders. That's the attitude of the province together with the traditional leaders as we're making these steps. The other issue is the issue of maritime protection. This calls, Honorable President, for special attention and flexibility in dealing with the restrictive regulatory requirements on protected areas. The natural environment of the Wild Coast is heavily protected. For example, the Port St. John's State Forest, Umkambati, Lambas Nature Reserve, and the 1 kilometer coastal restriction are some of the issues that will require our attention as we do this work going forward. The fourth one is the mainstreaming of the Eastern Seaboard development. It is critical that work pertaining to the Eastern Cape Seaboard development be mainstreamed into institutional plans and the functionality of the institutional arrangement be ensured in order to ensure collaborative planning, implementation, monitoring, reporting, and evaluation. This is the spirit that embeds our district development model as we drive our development path going forward as a country. And the fifth one is the special purpose vehicle, that the process of setting up a special purpose vehicle needs to be prioritized as it will be charged with driving implementation. We need to be updated regularly on the progress. And we've got catalytic projects that are part of these efforts. And the Mtento Bridge, the hole in the wall, Msikawa Bridge, and so on. In conclusion, Program Director, as a province, we welcome and embrace the Eastern Seaboard development. We commit to work together with various stakeholders towards its realization as we strive to improve the lives of the people of the province and the country. Collaboration among government and non-governmental sector is critical for achieving the development imperatives of our country. And together we can surely do more. And thank you.
Thanks for sanitizing. It's not easy to share the mic with Manamela. Program Director, Deputy Minister of Higher Education, Mr. Manamela, His Excellency, the President of our Republic, President Cyril Matamela Ramaphosa, the Minister of Culture, Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, who have steered this ship till this far. The Minister in the Presidency, Minister Kungubele, all ministers who are present here today, Nkosi Mhlawuli, MECs who are here, MEC Ngata from Eastern Cape, and other MECs as well as MECs from KwaZulu-Natal and in this district were represented by MEC for Social Development, MEC Koza, who is MEC Champion. All stakeholders who are here from the business sector, NGOs, our traditional leaders, Director Generals, organized business and potential investors, colleagues from the media, fellow compatriots and all. We stand here on behalf of the provincial government of KwaZulu-Natal to pledge and affirm our commitment to support the Eastern Seaboard development and the smart coastal African city. As the province of KwaZulu-Natal, we've made our detailed submission pertaining to the projects that are ensuing in Ugu district as well as Herigwala district. We're grateful of the work that have been done by Minister Dlamini Zuma and Your Excellency, Mr. President, who are indeed fulfilling the important commitment you made during the State of the Nation address when you articulated the goal of building a post-apartheid cities. Therefore, today's unveiling of the Eastern Seaboard development and the smart coastal African city goes to heart of the message that working together, we can build the South Africa of our dreams. We wish to convey our deepest sense of gratitude to the President and the Minister of Culture for the work they have been doing to get all parties on board to lend a hand in reimagining and building integrated human-centered settlement, including ensuring that the poor are not left behind in this development. We wish to pay particular tribute to our traditional leaders that are part of the process, and for their enthusiastic response to this groundbreaking initiative. To the business community, our message is one: KwaZulu-Natal and South Africa is open for business. So come build with us and reap the returns of your investment while improving the life of our people through skills and creation of jobs. From Coffee Bay to Kosi Bay, the Eastern Seaboard development will positively impact the lives of our people, which include Ugu District, Herigwala, Alfred Nzo, and O.R. Tambo. A number of poorest people of our country are found here in this district. These are districts that are immigrant-sending areas which compel many people to go to bigger cities in search of work and other opportunities. This development, therefore, will go a long way in strengthening bonds that already exist between the people of Eastern Cape and KwaZulu-Natal. It will make us realize the vision of a truly united, non-racial, non-sexist, equal and prosperous society. It will put to an end and defeat the apartheid boundaries that were put in place to perpetuate a strategy of divide and rule. We're pleased that this is one project of the 6th administration which from conceptualization to delivery will be implemented through the district development model. We are certainly building together from planning phase to ensure that we plan together, we implement together, and we attain the delivery together. The implementation of the DDM will ensure that government departments from national and provincial level put together all resources and work to support the district plan in the implementation. We are also aware that DDM prioritizes social partnerships and collaboration with communities in addressing service delivery backlog. In this regard, the DDM in these 2 districts of KwaZulu-Natal will help us to unlock investment in sectors such as mining, agriculture, tourism, and infrastructure development. We salute the district municipalities for having already completed their district profiles, submitted them to the National Department of Culture, and those profiles are now used as the baseline for the development of this Eastern Seaboard development. We believe that the Eastern Seaboard development and the envisaged smart city will be in a league of its own. It will draw on the beauty and resources of the breathtaking KwaZulu-Natal and Eastern Cape. It is widely known that the people of South Coast believe that God actually lives here because of the beauty of this place. It is also on the Eastern Seaboard development where we will be able to turn into economic opportunities the stories and the historical legacy and heritage associated with our natural endowment like Nguza Hill, Mlengana Rock, Hole in the Wall, and our battle sites, and many others. By fully applying the principle of a smart city, we will be able to create a human-centered society anchored on the ideal of economic inclusiveness and social justice. With the rising threat of climate change, we must aim to build sustainable communities by deploying technologies that do not harm the environment. In a decade or so, we must be able to look back and say we indeed succeeded to pilot a post-apartheid smart coastal city, or cities whose economies and administration is driven by innovation, entrepreneurship, and productivity. As KwaZulu-Natal will host the Intra-Africa Trade Fair, taking place in Durban from the 15th to the 21st of November, let us all speak in one voice to showcase the array of investment opportunities that the Eastern Seaboard development present to Africa and the world, together building better communities while growing South Africa together. I thank you.
Thank you, Premier of KZN. Would like to take now this opportunity to invite the acting chairperson of the National House to come and make remarks on behalf of the House of Traditional and Khoisan leaders.
Manibulele kumbhexeshi wenkqubo okwayi-champion umongameli welizwe, ikumkani zelizwe lakokwethu, Minister Dlamini Zuma, all ministers present here, the minister in the presidency, premiers, chairperson of the House of Traditional Leaders, both provincial and local houses, MSCs, other traditional leaders, councillors, business sector, religious sector, molweni. Akuvunywane khapha xa kubuliswana molweni. Mongameli welizwe simi apha okokuqala ndisitsho sithi asimanga kumnandi apha e-Eastern Cape. Sima kukubuhlungu. Sikuthe kwabulawa umntana oyintombazana uZenande Mangqola. Wabulawa ngesihluku. Apho ke ngoku sizawubuza into kokuba ngaba basithetha nge-development. Sizawukwazi ukuthetha ngayo i-development kusabulawa abantwana nomama apha eMzantsi Afrika. Wanga umoya wakhe ungaphumla ngoxolo. Mr. President, I am pleased to report to you that a number of ministers have embraced the Invest Rural program strategy. Mandibulise ngelithi izani sakhe. Izani sakhe. Ndiqale ngokuthi congratulations kuni nonke kwimibutho ibithesa kuvotwa elizweni. And I remember very well the comments from IEC when they were looking at the numbers of the political organizations. They said, looking at these numbers, we may have a lot of people who are not satisfied. But khange kuliwe apha emva kokuba kuphunywe results. That shows maturity ezingqondweni zethu nokukhula kwedemocracy yethu kulizwe lethu. Siyabulela mongameli. Ukuya phambili singabambana ke. We are meeting here as three spheres of government with partners, First, to take stock of the progress made in respect of Eastern Seaboard development, which is also known as African Coastal Smart City. And second, to get a common understanding regarding our common way forward. The Eastern Cape, the Eastern Seaboard Development Program is a noble initiative aimed at bringing development in the identification and identified 4 districts in the provinces of Eastern Cape and KZN, which are amongst the poorest in the country. This development initiative will go a long way in eradication of poverty, unemployment, and inequality, all of which are results of notorious apartheid system. The gains of this development will be greatly improve the lives of our people in rural areas, many of whom are under the jurisdiction of Amakhosi. Mr. President, preliminary engagements have taken place among the role players. That includes targeted areas of Surusikisiki, Port St. John's, Margate, Ugu, and Mount Olive, as has been alluded by the business sector, or also the premiers and the representatives of premiers here. A lot of engagement has taken place. These were largely planning meetings and informative sessions to give effect to the implementation of this massive project that is aimed at eradicating poverty. Further engagements and consultations are still to take place, as Minister Dlamini Zuma has indicated, that we said as traditional leaders we need more engagements. But what we do appreciate is that from national perspective, we got the information which was coming from local, which is very key, because now Tina Sifumana into say rather than getting a top-down approach. Everything has been discussed up ezantsi, but no premier namakhosi ezantsi. Yes, akuthi Tina said it discussiwe, and we're happy to discuss and agree on some of these issues because it has been discussed by local people. But we still more to get more discussions with Abantu for them to own the project. Yesterday, further engagement of this program took place among political leaders, traditional leaders at all spheres, with the business communities and possible investors. It was heartening to note that the great attendance and participation during the engagement. Amakhosi unequivocally pledged our full support to the initiative, which is complementary to our Invest Rural strategy. So remember, Mongameli, we presented to you the Invest Rural strategy, which is led by Amakhosi, which is focusing on the development of rural areas. Now we'll be linking it with this initiative. Mr. President, you would remember that during the debate speech, we did, the late Nkosazana Dlamini talked about this strategy. Traditional leaders indeed have an important role to play in the development of this initiative, as we know that our role is to advise the government. We are here to advise you as government, as traditional leaders, as much as we know that our main mandate, according to the Constitution of South Africa, is the preservation of culture and customs, but also to advise government is our role. Also, looking at our Section 20 of our Act, we are also open to departments to come to work with us. We are open, waiting for you at all departments. Cultural tourism and ICT development are amongst the programs that will bring vast difference to our rural communities, give our beautiful topography and interest by people from overseas to invest in our country. As traditional leaders, we have faith and confidence in our government's commitment to involve traditional leaders in this development initiative. This morning, you met with our kings. I'm sure you got all the information or what input from our kings. But moving forward, Mr. President, the issue of water rights, that needs to be looked at, because we are faced with the issue of water rights, which seems not to be looked at, not to be prioritized, because the water rights, we don't have water rights as communities, but bakhona abantu aba-owner yonke into. Ingaske, when we are here also together with business, let's consider that the issue of water rights. Also, the development of the mind is very key. If you are talking about development, start with the development of the mind for us to move forward. Because if we are used to depend on government, it's not going to be easy for us to move forward. So let's get lessons that talk to the development of the mind, to notice that you have got something in you, you can do something for yourself. What I like about this strategy, Mr. President, it talks about complementing one another, not competing. Because if we are competing as business, as leaders, we are not going anywhere. Yes, there are times of competing, but the competition which is looking at improving what we are doing. But that is not correct, because now we are talking about this chain. This chain needs a complementing of one another, so that if you are talking about this business, that this business must be complementing one another. We also learn by mistakes. Let's agree, we learn by mistakes. Let's not do the same mistakes. And let's make the environment conducive to whatever we would like to do. If you have got a high crime rate, that environment is not conducive for business. So let's make the environment conducive. Minister have talked about issues of skills. I will also plead with a business sector. We have got children who are there in universities. Sometimes they struggle to get experience at work, because they have to practice what they are taught there. But they struggle, they move around, not getting support from business to make them practice what they are doing there. We agreed to give land for development, but Mr. President, let's not only focus on this 13%, masingaqhathwa. 87% mayimuve naye simbone 87%, because now ifocus iba lapha kulo mhlaba umncinci. Then we are moving away from discussing the actual elephant here in the house. That is 87%. Thina sibukhosi sithe nazi millions siyazinikezela zomhlaba for agrarian revolution. But 87% lo ukobani? Let's talk about 87% when we are talking about these projects. In closing, Mongameli, we need to check on the areas now we're talking about. I can't live here not talk about women issues. I'm not elected here ukuzohombisa istructure sobukhosi. So I'm here to represent also women, to advise Amakhosi on issues of women. So assist us also as women, support us as women from government, sonke nisichase mongameli. Ke sive kuthiwa nansi into champion into ye gender based violence bengutata. Sive champion. Sithi nakutata uyachampiona apha. Because azasive nendoda ukuthi uyagxothwa etywaleni kuba ithi iphethe kakuba abafazi. Asiva kuthulekile nje ezweni ingathi akwenzeki into. Maka sibone begxothwa uthi ugxothiwe lapha kwaSeti kule ndawo bekukuyo kwathiwa makaphume. We can't keep quiet sibulawe ezweni. Namakhosi asiwayekanga uyayazi nanku Nkosi uGwadiso sithetha nabo ngu-chairperson we-local house yase OR Thamba apho kuthwala kwabantwana kukho siyathetha nabo sithi makhosi angeke abenu abantwana bathwala why kuzothwala abantwana babantu abaphuwa khona kuzothini xa kuzothethwa nge-Alzheimer why i-Alzheimer ilinkwa nokuthakatha i-Alzheimer and akulinkwa nabantu namaqhekehlekazi abantu abanezinto it's linked with abantu abaphuwa again. How can we continue oppressing abantu abaphuwa? Because when growing old ingqondo iyaphazamiseka. Can we talk about that? Let's take that also to be curriculum into Alzheimer also. We can't stay like that, Mongamil. As long as it had a development here, if abantu ababhinqile basaphatheke kakubi, izani sakhe ukuze ilizwe lethu ibe lilizwe liphuhlileyo. Enkosi Mongamil.
Thank you. That moment we've been waiting for the President to speak to us. So I'd like to take this opportunity to invite the Minister in the Presidency, Mr. Mondli Gungubele, to come and introduce the President. Yeah.
Program Director, the entire spectrum of leadership, government, traditional leadership, business, Your Excellency, Mama, mine is just leg stretching. That's what I'm called here to do. But in a second, just to say, we are on a journey to ease of doing business through smart cities, seamlessness, seamless transport, seamless everything, seamless plans, seamless whatever, cross-government. We cannot fail. That's why we are happy that Mama Nkosazana is championing this, because a task in her head is a task with one option, implementation. If you remember the medicine and related substances, you remember the anti-tobacco campaign, you remember the turnaround of Home Affairs. So this task of Smart City is in the right hands. So all I've been asked to do is to say to you, yesterday having listened to a former shop steward presenting MTPPS, a former general secretary of a trade union, doing all those things, demand for shares going up, bond yields going down, the rand getting better. I've got an opportunity again to summon another general secretary of a trade union, probably a former shop steward, a grounded opponent of social injustice, a servant of the people, to address you. Baumatame.
Thank you. Thank you, Program Director. Minister Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, Minister of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, Ministers and Deputy Ministers, Premier of KwaZulu-Natal, Sihle Zikalala, Deputy Ministers of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, Obed Bapela and Tembing Kadimeng, District Champions who are here with us, MECs and mayors from both the Eastern Cape as well as from KwaZulu-Natal, Mama Mhlauli, Acting Chairperson of the House of Traditional Leaders, and all our Amakosi who are present here today, whose presence is really valued and appreciated. Representatives from the business community and business associations, as well as the investor community, distinguished guests and ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed a pleasure to be here today to witness firsthand the opportunities that arise when government, business, and communities, as led also by our traditional leaders, mobilize around a common vision. In the case of the Eastern Seaboard development, this is a broad and multifaceted vision, a vision that was crafted from a dream that we articulated some 2 years ago, a dream which many people just dismissed and scoffed at. That dream is now turning into a vision, and that vision is going to turn and is turning into an implementable project of building smart cities around our Eastern Seaboard. That is a phenomenal development in our country, South Africa. Firstly, it is a vision to translate from policy into practice the district development model, which aims to improve the coherence and the impact of local service delivery, but which also aims to channel investments in the areas most needed in our country. Secondly, it is a vision to overcome the legacy of apartheid special planning, which continues in many ways to limit the economic opportunities of many millions of South Africans. Thirdly, it is a vision to strengthen economic linkages between our provinces through mutually beneficial development. And fourthly, this development aims to harness the potential of the vast natural endowments of the two provinces of our country, the Eastern Cape and KwaZulu-Natal, for economic growth. As I said in the State of the Nation in February, South Africa is a country of many endowments. As a nation, we also have many capabilities. We have enormous strengths and attributes that we can and must draw on as we rebuild and transform our society. Now, our country has vast tracts of arable and fertile land. We have abundant sunshine and temperate weather. And some say possibly the best weather in the world. We have the coastline stretching some 2,800 kilometers from east to west, touching two oceans, the Indian Ocean and the Atlantic Ocean. It's a coastline teeming with marine resources of enormous proportions. Our fauna and flora places us as one of the top 5 most biodiverse countries in the world. Much of this natural endowment is located right here in the 4 districts that are part of this development. From pristine beaches and waterways to tourism attractions, and from diverse marine biology to fertile land with significant potential for cultivation. Now, this natural endowment presents great growth opportunities in the ocean's economy, in tourism, in agriculture, in mining, in oil and gas, in technology, and many, many other opportunities. If harnessed effectively, this natural environment has the potential to revitalize local economies, create jobs, and sustain livelihoods. Translating the vision for this Eastern Seaboard development into reality requires cooperation between the public and private sectors to mobilize investment for catalytic and big-ticket transformative projects. Investors will provide the investment, but government will create the conducive environment and conditions for this investment to take place. Now, for us to do this, for us to position this as a development that can yield substantial and sustainable returns on investments, we have to strengthen the capabilities and improve the functioning of our government system, but more particularly at the local government level, because it is at the local government level where investment takes place. Investment does not take place at the union buildings. It takes place right here where we are. And that is where we want to see action taking place. Strong, well-run municipalities that are able to deliver services to communities as well as businesses are able to attract investment. Conversely, poorly run and badly administered municipalities deter investment they just chase business and investment away. So we want municipalities that are hungry for investment, that are keen to see investment taking place so that we can develop our people and our areas. The recent local government elections have provided a clear direction on what the citizens of our country want. It is critical that we now focus all our energies on addressing the many service delivery concerns of our people and also of businesses who rely on the provision of these services to run their operations. Businesses who want properly maintained roads. Businesses do not want roads that are littered with potholes. Businesses want all the roads, including the R61, to be well-constructed roads. And this is precisely what today we are saying we are prepared to offer business. The district development model puts local government at the center of our country's growth and development. It is a model that is aimed at promoting better intergovernmental coordination, better intergovernmental planning, and also better budgeting and implementation. Part of the work we undertook during the pilot phase of the district development model was to develop detailed district profiles, providing an overview of each district. Now, these profiles covered demographics, socio-economic challenges such as crime, unemployment, poverty and inequality, as well as education levels of our people who live in those districts. But they also covered current employment growth trends in the districts. Most importantly, these profiles identified potential areas for growth with a view to unlocking the potential of each of the districts. It was through this process that cooperative governance undertook, that we were able to, possibly for the first time, to have an insight into the proper layout of our districts. And yes, it was through this process that we were able to identify opportunities for investment and development in this area of the 4 districts. The district development model calls on government, it calls on traditional leaders, on business, on investors, on donors, civil society, and social partners, as well as communities, to contribute to a common plan for growth and development. Today, we are here to take forward the developmental vision of the Eastern Seaboard development, which is a flagship district development model project. It is a flagship project because it is large in scale, extensive in the area that it covers, and quite intensive in what needs to be done. We will be declaring the Eastern Seaboard as a region in terms of the Special Planning and Land Use Management Act. Now, having moved from that dream to crafting this vision, we are now moving forward to really conceptualizing what needs to be done. but we are underpinning it by demonstrating our preparedness at government level to get this project moving, and it shall move. This project shall move. Now, this act is an important tool to achieve spatial transformation by establishing the principles, the norms, and the standards for integrated spatial planning and land use management. One of the traditional leaders that we saw this morning confessed that when we initially introduced this Spluma Act, many people did not understand it. And it was when they gave it deeper consideration that they started to realize the impact that it is going to have. Some people feared that it was going to take their powers away. And yet, in fact, this act is going to add to the powers that people have. It is going to enhance the management of our lands. The Eastern Seaboard project is aimed at connecting the villages, the towns, and the cities in the Wild Coast Corridor, which comprises unique ecological zones and tourism routes with provincial, national, as well as continental economies through the transportation infrastructure and information technology. Now, through this, you may just think that we are looking just as this area. We are already transcending beyond just this Eastern Seaboard. We're even going continental. We're even going international by virtue of the investors who are also interested in this Eastern Seaboard. So we're just not local. Says Hambela Pezul. That's where we are now. The development is along a 120-kilometer coastline stretch between Margate and Port St. John's, with supporting gateways between Kokstad and Bizana. It is never simply enough to undo the effects of the past. We have to raise our gaze. We have to look beyond the horizon, and we have to embrace the future. And that is the importance of dreams. You begin to dream even about what you have not yet seen. It was Madiba who said, "It all seems impossible, hugely impossible, until it is done." And this is the impossible that is going to be done. It is going to happen. In this case, we are embracing the future, a future that started from a dream into a vision, into a clear concept, into a project. We are embracing that future through development, but a development that is smart, a development that is environmentally sustainable, and that embraces also the fourth industrial revolution. One should listen to what the investors that we are lining up are saying. They are already looking at this great endowment that we have, this Eastern Seaboard, and are already talking about technologies of the future, hydrogen, greening the economy in this area. Those are the types of opportunities that they are already beginning to talk about. We are certain that this development will contribute towards the creation of new regional nodes that will attract investment into the area and create jobs and other opportunities as well for our people here. Just 2 months ago, I visited another significant development along this coastline, the N2 Wild Coast Road project. On that occasion, I said that government, business, and communities need to work together in the cause of development, and that large-scale economic projects must have a real and tangible benefit to local communities, but that they should also have another important component of demonstrating that all these role players can work together in a collaborative manner, find a way of addressing challenges and problems on an ongoing basis, so that we can showcase to the world what the true DNA of South Africa is. Being able to build a compact, being able to have consensus, and being able to work together. It has been greatly encouraging to see, even as this project is in its formative stages, beginning to evolve, it's been encouraging to see that a consultation process has started. It has started at a number of levels, and it is going to deepen at community level as well. It is pleasing to hear the key role players, business, being so enthusiastic about this program, government leaders being so enthusiastic, our traditional leaders in the form of our kings, as well as Amakhosi Etu, being so enthusiastic, and community leaders and many other people who are also professionals, and business associations. It is pleasing to hear this happening at this early stage of this program. But it is also pleasing to hear people talk about, yes, the benefit that will flow to the communities around here. Economic development that does not prioritize the needs of the community is unsustainable. With the support of everyone, especially our investors, we will be able to create favorable conditions for growing businesses, for providing a comfortable living environment for families, for developing rural areas and promoting good governance. As government, we are working to encourage investment in this area by packaging existing infrastructure projects portfolios and presenting a credible project pipeline with the detail needed for investors to make informed investment decisions. Through the district development model, we will ensure that there is better alignment of government structures to facilitate the planning, the issuing of permits, and various other approvals that are required. We are going to make sure that there is an ease not only of doing business, but that there is ease of implementing this project. Now, obviously, we will do so without cutting corners or sacrificing safety and quality, but we will do so by ensuring that the time frames are adhered to, that the tendency that we might have in government of elongating processes of giving approvals is cut down quite substantially, so that the project must go on, because the project is aimed at addressing the needs of our people. I know that sometimes when approvals have to be given, there's a tendency, a lackadaisical tendency, of sitting on applications and getting people to sign and fill in thousands and thousands of forms. Now, that really, if we really want economic development, we must cut out that chaff. We must make sure that things happen. Because it quite often discourages investors. It makes investors become discouraged and they walk away. Now, I want investors to stay here. I don't want any way to stay in my way of getting investors to stay here. Please get out of the way. Investors must stay here. So we will be moving quite in a determined way to make sure that we cut down unnecessary bureaucratic clutter. That we and those people who have made it their lifelong duty just to delay things, we say we will get you out of the way. We want things to be done. So that is why earlier when I talked to the investors, I said to them, there will be challenges, but we want you to come and talk to us about those challenges. Don't just turn away and say it is not doable, it's impossible. Because we are serious about making sure that South Africa becomes an investment destination. We are serious about removing red tape. What we want to do is to take out red tape and lay out the red carpet so that investors come here. I'm greatly encouraged to see the work that has been done into packaging the Eastern Seaboard development to potential investors. And want to thank Minister Dlamini Zuma and all the others who've been working on this, packaging this, talking to investors, and getting investors to start biting, to start getting interested. And we are now packaging it so well that yes, this project has the support from the President as well as the government of the Republic of South Africa. I want you to know that. Now, as we continue our journey towards economic reconstruction and recovery, developments such as this can help to boost the fortunes of our economy and also to create jobs. They will also support the overall growth of regions that have suffered from underdevelopment. Now, the 4 districts in this area are some of the poorest districts in our country with lack of investment. We are now shining a torch of investment on these 4 districts. And they've also suffered from low growth and underinvestment, and they've also suffered from people departing from these 4 districts going to many other places in our country. We want to attract them back. We want to bring them back as we build our smart cities around and along this Eastern Seaboard. I want to thank all who have been part of making the events of the past 2 days a success. I hear that there have been intensive discussions, and that in itself is a very positive sign that we are moving forward. For the investment community, I'd like you to know that this demonstrates our seriousness and our determination about making sure that, yes, you can come and invest here. We want you to come and invest here. But more than that, we want you to come and make money here and make lots of money. Because when you make lots of money, we will get lots of taxes. We will get lots of jobs as well. So we don't want to be shy about that. We want you to come because you're coming here as investors. And as we lay out the red carpet for you, it's a great benefit for us. It is our collective wish that what has been showcased will inspire confidence and result in the investment that our people seek and our country needs. And just to give you assurance, we will continue as government to address the various other challenges that our country faces. We are a country that has a plan. We are moving forward. We are not browbeaten. Even COVID-19, much as it has been devastating, has not browbeaten us to submission. We have a plan and we are addressing the challenges, be they challenges that our people face out of poverty and unemployment, be they challenges that our businesses face out of losing business. We are addressing those. And we've taken the most outstanding decisions for a middle-income economy like ours, as well as for a small economy like ours. We've been punching way above our weight because we are serious about development. And in this case as well, we're also addressing the health challenges. And there are murmurings that we could be facing a fourth wave. These are murmurings that we've been hearing, and some of our medical scientists are beginning to be concerned about that. With that in mind, it is for that reason that we are encouraging South Africans to be vaccinated in their large numbers. Because when we are vaccinated, the protection against getting infected and also getting seriously ill is there. So this weekend, we are opening up our Vuma vaccination weekend again, and I'd like to call on South Africans to go out in their hundreds of thousands so that we can increase our vaccination rates. We are increasing the numbers. The Minister of Health said maybe 30 million people are now vaccinated. We need to increase that number. And this weekend, we want to see more and more of our people vaccinating so that we can defend ourselves. It is these efforts that we are taking to demonstrate that we are serious about economic development, because when we are all vaccinated, then our economy gets a boost. Our economy gets a lift. Just like yesterday, when our Minister of Finance delivered the medium-term budget policy statement, it has already started showing very positive signs of a lift. And these are some of the things that we need. So today, as we talk about this Eastern Seaboard project, development project, it is one of those initiatives that is going to give us a lift. And we will be spreading these types of initiatives throughout the country, because it is through economic development that we will be able to address the three challenges our country faces: unemployment, poverty, and inequality. And we'd like to say to the business community, thank you for being here. Thank you for participating in what we've been doing over the past 3 days. We really value your partnership and your participation. We want to promise you that we will not let you down. We want you to be here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, President. And I think the marching orders are clear. No red tapes, just red carpets, so that we grease the wheels that will make the smart city move and ensure that this region is grinding forward. Thank you very much for those instructions, President. And I think all of us have had you in all spheres of government, and also those who are here who have been invited to be part of this engagement between yourself and all spheres of government. Are those the showers to to basically, I think, a cherry on top for the President's message. And that brings us to the end of this engagement. We'd really want to thank, firstly and most importantly, the Ministry, in particular the Minister of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, for having led us up to this far and beyond, to the all the other government departments at a national level who've contributed from the onset in the success of and the realization of this vision and dream, to also the provincial government as led by the premiers, both premiers of the Eastern Cape and of KZN, but also those who play their role in the district and local municipalities who were quite instrumental. Some of them are probably uncertain, President, whether they'll be coming back into local government or not, but they've played their role up to this far, and we really want to thank them for having ensured that we come this far with regards to the smart city, the officials at all the spheres of government who have also made their contributions felt, but also those who've made today a success. Would really want to thank you for your efforts and for all the energies that you have all expended. Lunch will be served here for everybody else, and those who are in the gymnasium in the morning, lunch will be served there. So a big round of applause for all of us who've made today a success, and thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the day and enjoy the weekend, and let's make the smart city work. Thank you.